You're listening to Beauty, Strength, and Dominance, the official podcast of Lingerie Fighting Championships. And now, here's your host, Michael Larkin.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another edition of Beauty, Strength, and Dominance, the official LFC Lingerie Fighting Championships podcast. My name is Mike Larkin. Ladies and gentlemen, Friday, December 13th, another surrender party. Man, when you think of parties, when you think of wrestling, and when you just think of all-around fun, entertainment, and dare I say awesomeness, you think of these parties. And, well, joining me as always is my dear friend and the host of these fantastic parties, the one, the only, Mrs. Domina Katarina. How are you, Domina?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing good. Had to give you the big old introduction as you rightfully deserve. I got to say, Domina, you're welcome. But with all of these parties, man, you are not only the life of the party, but I got to say, more surrender parties coming. How excited are you? It's December 13th, baby.
I am very excited. This is the first time we're doing, again, the royal the first time I'm doing a blacklight party. So it's gonna be fun. We're going to, drop those lights, pump up the music, get people glowing. It's gonna be a really good time.
I look at it like this, and here's what I love about it too. When you think of December and you think of the holiday season and you think of just fun with overall parties and people getting together, mind you, who doesn't love a good Christmas? Who doesn't love the holiday season? But I think with you in particular, I think you could concur with me with the Let's Glow Pro Wrestling. I'm glad you brought this up. When you think of Glow, what automatically comes to mind? The gorgeous ladies of wrestling. So there's tie into that. But also at the same time, too, let's glow as opposed to the let's go. It happens, man. You're glowing up the vibe. Black light, like you mentioned, but it's the aesthetic, so to speak, that goes into it.
Yeah, I'm super psyched because neon and UV reactive, it's perfect. So having pro style, and actually there's going to be a pro style workshop ahead of time so people can learn a couple moves. And then as always, they're welcome to do any kind of wrestling during the party. But pro style neon 90s, I'm ready for bright colors and maybe even some leg warmers. My wrestling boots might have to make an appearance too.
All right now. And I mean, as we were discussing before we came on air, it's a cold ass up there in New York, man. I will say this. As someone who's in South Kakalaki now, I will put it to you like this. And I've always said this about the difference between New York and South Carolina. While New York is very cold, y'all get the snow. Here as well in South Carolina, folks, very cold, also dealing with the raining and running from hurricanes. But I'd rather be cold than dealing with snow. I'll put it to that forefront.
See, I think snow is so pretty and it's so nice and it has its whole it has its own vibe, but it comes with the cold. And that's the part that kills me. Although I am not really dodging that many hurricanes up here. So I will take that any day of the week.
This is very true. I was about to say, you got me a little conflicted when you said that, because I look at it like this. While snow is very beautiful, it sets the scenery of what Christmas is. Oh, man, you got to watch out for the ice not falling on your ass. You know what I'm saying? Like you're friggin' Daniel Stern and Home Alone 2 and Marv and Joe Pesci falling on the ice, running away from Kevin McAllister. I mean, that's what it is. You got to be aware of the ice and stuff. So there's the con part of it, but the pro con it is, that's what you think of when you think of Christmas, the snowball fights and everything. So, I mean, there's always that 50-50 mix, so to speak.
Yeah, man, there's nothing says season's greetings like booby traps.
And I will say this as far as seatings, greetings, and goes, man. I mean, you got the open mat. We mentioned the flashlights. When you think of wrestling parties, and what I love about yours as well, too, is not only the theme and the aesthetic, like we mentioned, but I love the fact that you have the workshops and everything beforehand, because we touched upon this last time, and I always like to make this a point with you. Man, safe and spectacular, keeping it safe and doing your craft in spectacular fashion. The way I equate it to you is, and we think of pro wrestling as a whole, it's like how the WWE has their performance center that helps a lot of these young talents grow, and they have the next next in line program and so many different programs. You have become the programmist, if you will, when it comes to putting up a lot of the safetiness and everything that goes into it. I made that wholeheartedly, and I love what you just did there, because I look at it like this, Miss Domina, with the sensuality vibes, but also at the same time too, keeping it safe, but also helping people grow, and many different layers and levels to their character and the wrestling side of things. There's a lot that really goes into it from the planning perspective.
For the planning perspective, yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot of hours. If I told you, you'd choke. But and not in like a fun, rear naked, consensual kind of way. But I really love. I mean, I love planning them. I love planning them, and part of having the parties is making sure that people walk away and they're able to wrestle another day. So, when it comes to just stretching out because it's a sport, working it into what our framework of BDSM and fetish and kink is already, knowing that, you need consent, you need scene negotiation, you need all that kind of stuff to keep everybody feeling good. And then you also need to be aware that when it comes to kink, we're moving from safe, sane, consensual SSC to RAC, which is risk-aware consensual kink. So there are risks involved, right? Like nobody can guarantee your safety when you're doing some of this stuff. But we do things, we put things in place so that people can be safe. One, we review safety. We review a few moves to get you into the action. We have consent monitors. There are going to be people there wearing LED bands so that you can say something if you have an issue or you can't find me during the party. We have green and red wristbands that all the guests wear. So if somebody's wearing a green band, we know that they're open to being approached for play. If they're wearing a red band, they do not want to be approached for play. And we also have referees on the mats, and they're responsible for standing there and making sure nobody gets pushed back over their knees, nobody gets picked up and slammed down, and nobody crashes into each other. So we do have some things put in place so that we can reduce, any potential harm, so that we can keep safe and play. Because that is the thing, risk-aware consensual kink. There is still risk, but that's kind of what makes it fun.
So pretty much risk-aware consensual kink. That's like the DARE, the drug abuse resistance education of the session world and overall kink world. You just described it kind of like how we had DARE back in elementary.
Well, I'm not saying don't say no to wrestling.
That is very true. That's
with some safety involved and safety procedures.
Oh God, I just put the image of everybody with the dude wearing the DARE t-shirt and the crazy butterfly sugar baby. I digress, but no.
Plus we have 420 vendors, so we can. Nancy Reagan's not coming to our party.
I like your style. Okay. So we'll get to the 420 vendors in a minute, because that was going to be my follow-up. But just to go on to your point about that, what I like that too as well is because we do talk about the levels and layers to everything that goes into the party. I think it is very cool. Not only do you have like the safe words and making sure everybody is doing the accommodation and comfortability side of things, but I think that also goes in not only planning it accordingly as well, but I think it really does help, again, with what you do. And I got to say, being the consummate professional that you are, man, you really do have a nice way of really organizing and leveling it out, especially for everybody that's involved. I think that goes a long way within your character.
Thank you. I think the important thing is, thinking about, experiences that I've had at parties, thinking about the kinds of parties that I want to go to, because that's what surrender is. It's I wanted to have a party that like I would want to go to and my friends would want to go to, and we would, and that's why we get such great people that come to these parties, because it's the same kind of people that are looking for that kind of space. And just thinking about, not just experiences that I've had, but experiences of people that I know that they've had, and people, they come up to me after the party like, this was great, but you know what? I couldn't find the providers. Is it possible to have pictures? Well, now we have signs with the providers' pictures on them. So you can look on the wall and be like, oh, that person, and then go find them at the party. So every time that somebody has a suggestion, I do listen to it. I do consider it. And, I find a way to either implement it or, see how we can improve.
I think what I like about that too as well is because it's all about moments and memories created and moments and memories yet to be created. I look at it from a stance like this. Who doesn't want to like find that provider and take your picture with them? Because that's also the most important part. Not only the fact that everybody's together, but having the pictures remain in those moments, man. Everybody loves to take a good picture and have that nice reminiscence of what we had within that night, man.
Yeah, and we do have a photo wall. So things are, you're allowed to take pictures against a wall or in a corner or in the designated photo area. There are no photos, no videos of the general party at large, because not everyone, is out as a kinkster. Not everyone is out as queer. Not everyone wants people to know their business. You don't want to go to work and have people know your stuff. So, it's enjoying that moment. And if you want to have a picture, take a picture, but like, let's just be together. Let's be in this space. You walk in, you show your negative COVID test, you show your you look at the consent things, you got it, boom, ready. And then we're in this container together, and we kind of build this like beautiful little ball of fun for us.
As it should be. I mean, when you think of the fun aspect too, you have a lot of great people. We've mentioned this many a times, but it damn well needs, again, to be put into the forefront. The uniqueness, everybody differential for what they like from different categories of kink and everything in general. I think what's great about it too is, while there are some that are very secretive and very private about it, which I can respect as well, there are so many people that we talk about expanding and exploring their horizons and their overall likes and everything from their pros and everything that goes into it. Like you mentioned, that big ball of fluff, that big ball, that everything that just kind of gels and cohesiveness that comes together. I think at the end of the day too, man, it's a great support system, but also at the same time too, like-minded people getting together, showing some love, bringing some happiness, dare I say, evoking emotions, eliciting reactions, but in a good way.
Yes. It's all about good fun, And it's always bustling. It's, we have vendor tables, cuddle puddle, flash tattoo, the open mat room, the session areas. Like it's always something exciting going on. It is funny though, walking into the cuddle puddle, because that's like the 420 smoke room. So you walk in and it's like everything goes the whole vibe just like chills out. And then you go back out and it's like, ah.
So, all right. So I want to before we get to the, I have to ask you about the 420 vendors, because this also piqued my curiosity. First and foremost, I know you and your 420ness, and I respect and I love it just because you're very much an advocate for it. And a lot of people do the damn thing, very open-minded. But I got to ask you more about the 420 vendors and everything that comes with that, because that's very cool. Everybody's relaxed in the nice little room. So there's nice, very chill vibes that go along with it.
Yeah. I mean, again, the music's pumping and all that kind of stuff, and it is BYOB, but Amin's Treats is a vendor, and he makes, honestly, okay, so after the last party, my appendix ruptured like a day later, and I had to go to the hospital. I was in the hospital for a week with sepsis. It was nuts. But I honestly don't think, now that I'm wondering, like, why did I not feel my appendix exploding? And I think it's because I finished off one of Amin's cupcakes. I'm pretty sure that is what happened. I was just kind of medicated up as it was happening. But Amin has some really, really tasty treats that will be there. And and as someone too, like, I enjoy good smoke, but honestly, like my lungs, I want to keep them nice and fresh so that I have stamina on the mats. I also have asthma, so I don't want to, like, piss off anything in there. So edibles are just like, and if there are different ways for me to ingest it instead of just like slamming a gummy in my face, like that's it. You have all these options. The options are amazing. And Amin is always playing with flavor combinations and flowers and herbs, and the flavor medleys are incredible.
I got to tell you, I'll make two pop culture references here. It's like Craig Mack blurring the flavor in the air, and then you got Craig David talk about what's your flavor. Tell me what's your flavor. I look at it from a stance like this. I think the edibles not only are very cool because, again, being around people like yourself who really enjoy them, I think the takeaway from it, too, as well as, again, numbing the pain, puts you in a relaxing mood, but also at the same time, too, we mentioned vibes and chillaxing, if you will, but also got to put into perspective as well. First of all, I'm glad you're okay. With everything that happened in the hospital, let's just put that to the forefront. I'm glad to see you're doing okay.
Thank you, me too.
I am, for real. Health comes first, but also number two, I completely understand. And I think a lot of people from the takeaways of that is really cool. I mean, back in the day, like you mentioned, the 90s and the neon lights here. I mean, back in the day when you had the rave, you got the pacifier in your mouth, and then everything's like going into fruition. I mean, it's cool rave, somebody's dropping whatever, you know what I'm saying? But the edibles, man, the edibles have just become that overall vibe too. Like, to reiterate that point, but the edibles, man, you can't go wrong. You seriously can't go wrong.
Unless you eat half a cupcake and don't feel your appendix rupturing. You truly do definitely, please, again, cannabis is medicine. So, just be aware of your own risk profile. Again, we're talking about risk, your own risk profile, and be aware of, your consumption level and what you can. I did not consume that cupcake until I got home. I stay sober during the party. So, cause that would just knock me out. But, yeah, definitely be aware of your own risk profile, but all about having fun. And just as someone who enjoys cannabis, that, it's a vibe. It's a vibe. So if it is something that you enjoy, it's great. If you want to bring a little, I don't know what people drink, White Claw, I'm not sure. I'm a water drinker. Bring that, put it in the fridge.
First and foremost, great minds think alike. Water. No, that was me too, because I was never a drinker. And you know what it was too? I think is because I was around people that when they got to that certain level, they were the type that were like the mean drunks and not the fun drunks. But I'm just like, yeah, I can't do that. I can't do it. I couldn't put myself to it. So while I am more of the straight edge side of things, I think if I was to lean, I'm more towards the edible side of things because it's more relaxing. And, it's like when you're like you mentioned, like being sober and doing what you need to do. It's like if you're taking a piss test for something, then stuff like that, like alcohol and shit comes up on your thing. The edibles, it's nice, it's flowing. So there's different levels of having a good time. So, I mean, at the end of the day too, we mentioned the good time factors, but it's really cool to see like everything from the cohesiveness as well. And also I got to put into the forefront here, Miss Domina Katarina, besides the fact that you know how to have a good time, but also number two, we're going to put into perspective here. You do know not only how to apply your craft and apply it in amazing and spectacular fashion, but I think the craft of what you do and the knowledge that you obtain really goes a long way with just really being around such great people. I got to put that out there.
Thank you. I am so lucky to have amazing people around me. And honestly, this whole appendix thing, my friends, I don't know how I gained these beyond incredible friends. Seeing how Feisty Feminista came to the hospital. I couldn't eat anything. She came with a watermelon and a honeydew and a pocket knife and was in my hospital room, like hacking fruit for me. Like, I have such good friends. So
let's put this into the forefront. Shout out to Feisty Feminista first and foremost. Feisty's awesome. I also got to put to the forefront that's dedication and friendship right there. Watermelon, pocket knife, honey.
I had a whole group of friends, Imogen, Chloe Nova, a whole bunch of people who came over to my apartment. My mom was like living here for 3 weeks, but they came over and they were amazing. They were amazing. And honestly, I feel like I am the richest person in the world. It's so cliche, but to be the richest person in the world, regardless of your income, because I somehow have these incredible people that, they're in my world. It's amazing.
Again, it's one of those things too, and what I love about the accommodation comfortability factor, and besides the fact that watermelons, honeydew, and pocket knives, just like I gotta say, that's dedication. I love that.
Love a melon. Love a melon.
Melon, man, like God, watermelon, everything. Okay, but that's
melon.
Oh, you know what's cool about it too, as well as, and again, we talk about the friendship and kinsmanship of this. I think with today's day and age, and I've always respected this, especially in 2024 going into 2025, the amount of people just being more open and just exploring, because back in the days when things were very much taboo, I mean, growing up as a kid in the 90s, and then you get to more like the early 2000s and the mid 2000s, so to speak, everything's just kind of like, what have you, you know what I'm saying? But things nowadays, it's a better social climate. It's better. There are some aspects that still need improvement, but we're in a better climate where people are more open and have so many ways of just being themselves in a free perspective,
Yeah, as long as we can keep that going next year. We don't know what kind of changes they're going to be with the new administration. We have heard some rumblings. We have an idea of some things. But in terms of just society is so much more open, than going back on Craigslist to try and find somebody to step on you, Now we have social media, we have people who talk, we have cell phones, we can connect with each other. We have FetLife, for as much as, the issues that platform can have. I mean, I get to put everything about surrender on there. I get to put everything, I can't put mini sessions on any of the ticket sites because even though wrestling is legal, it's still mini sessions. So it's like they get a little nervous. But on FetLife, I can tell you exactly who's going to be there, any changes to the schedule, any FAQs. Like I have so much stuff up there with at surrender parties on FetLife.
I think the array of people from your alumni that you have had at your parties. I mean, we mentioned the one and only Feisty Feminista. I mean, the Gia Loves, like, we'll be here all day. But I look at it like this, too. The amount of people that come out to this is just absolutely immaculate. And again, nothing but praise as well, but also at the same time, too, everybody has a great presentation. We always talk about representation of your presentation, so to speak. Represent yourself well, present yourself well. I look at it like this, man. The best is everything from the presentation. Everybody has a role in the party, in the presentation, and it's wonderful because it's all about the subtleties, the intricacies, the nuances that go into each and every facet of life in which you take part in, But I also look at it from a stance too as well. First off, badass tattoos. You get more tattoos up in this piece, which I love every time you say it because, again, showcases the ink, the artistry, man. It's badass and it's cool. It's different than what we see from a lot of parties.
Yeah, and needle play is a kink, so it kind of ties in there a little bit, but it's just something fun, whether it's something that you wanted, my friend got her first tattoo there and she got a little kitten, or if it's something specific like the luchador on my knee that I got during my last pro style party. Max Scaff does incredible work. The Flash is amazing. There's so much planned for the future. My brain is like ding, 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 ding. There's so much I can't wait for y'all to find out. But there's so many really cool things that are happening at that party, and so many cool people. From the vendors, we have vendors to the providers. That it's just as you were saying, like an array of people, an array. There's somebody that's going to fit with you if you wanted to try something out. Miss Liliana is going to be there. Queen Naomi, who does a ton of stuff, including fantasy wrestling. Mistress Sarah is she actually teaches femdom wrestling at the Crown for the Taylor Group. I filled in on one of her workshops and taught there a couple of weeks ago. But she teaches femdom wrestling there. She's going to be there. She's ready to kick some ass. Purple Powerhouse is going to be here this time. Purple Powerhouse is buff. You should see the promo with the flexing, the bicep, poof, just incredible. Queen Gia Love is going to be there again. There's a whole Goddess D is going to be there. I'm like, oh gosh, don't forget anybody. Goddess D is going to be there. Goddess D is a face-sitting expert and is training in jiu-jitsu. So y'all are in trouble because she's coming to get you.
I'm smiling because I've seen Goddess D's work. Powerhouse from the gluteus maximus front and just overall accessory. And you mentioned Purple Powerhouse. My goodness, man, that woman can flex, number one, but also number two, just overall, just wow. That's the best place I can put it is wow. I mean, it's in the name, Purple Powerhouse. So just my goodness.
Yes. The amount of work that goes into that and the amount that is just dedication. And that is like taking your body and creating a work of art just from, the lump of clay that we're all given. Like that is just, applaud that hard work.
Agreed. And I will put this into the forefront since you mentioned earlier. I'm going to go back to it. This one over here has a badass rear naked choke. So if y'all want to see just badass rear naked chokes, I'm putting you over with this, man, because I got to say, I love me some chokage, man. There you go. I got to say, you do your thing well on that front. I got to put that out there.
Thank you. Choking is one of my favorite things. Chokes and smothers. Those are my absolute favorites. No matter what moves I learn or what training I do, choking and smothering, that's always, give me those necks, man.
I'll tell it to you like this. When Dale and Brennan had their boats and hoes, you got your chokes and smothers. I like your style. I look at it like this. And first and foremost, can we all put over the fashion aesthetic here that Domina Katarina's here? You got the nice little black vest. Domina, I got to tell you, man, you're looking good. Looking fly, no lie, ma'am.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I got to say, love the attire, love the deal. We've always mentioned this about you, man. I got to say, there's nothing that you can't do, number one. But number two, you always had that add a little extra layer to your character, from your chokes, your smotherings, your doms, and everything. We call it's all in the name, but god dang it, man. The accoutrement is there, Domina. The accoutrement is there.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm going to hit you with the visuals and then hit you with the trash talk. So I'm assaulting all your senses.
Okay, first and foremost, can we put that on a t-shirt? Assaulting all your senses. Okay, ma'am. I like your style. Oh my goodness. I will say this about the surrender parties as well. We have such an amazing group of talent there. I cannot wait. I got to tell you, next time I'm in New York, whenever it is, I would definitely love to come to these parties, man, and just kick it with all of y'all, man, because y'all do an amazing work, and it's really a sight to see.
Thank you. Thank you. And there's so much planned for 2025. I cannot wait. I can't wait. If you're on FetLife, follow at Surrender Parties. And I will let you know, because I can't help it. Before this party is over, I will already have the next one planned. So I'll be on FetLife like, hey guys, here's a poll. Want to do this? Da, da, da. So I get really excited and a little bit ahead of myself. But there's a lot planned for next year, including a collab with Bite Club.
All right now. Okay. Bite Club collabs.
Bite Club.
Yes. Okay. All right now. All right. Now, I will say this about the collaborations and everything that we get to meet in this fine industry that we all are in the overall content creation side of things. I will say this, folks. If you've not checked out Surrender Parties, if you've not checked out FetLife, if you've not checked out Domina, such a unique group of people, such an amazing talent. I can't put it over enough. I cannot wait to see what the future holds for you. I know you're going to do a much excellence going forward.
Thank you. Thank you very much. And thank you for having me back. I always love coming on here and chatting with you.
Of course. I always say I make the most of my time, and I will say this before we do close this thing out. Domina is a woman of many, many socials. Where can we follow you on the social media so we can put that into the forefront for everybody?
I am Domina_Katarina on Instagram, and then I am the Domme Kat pretty much everywhere else. My link tree is the Domme Kat. I'm on Blue Sky now, so that's the dommekat.com on there. It's TheDommEkat. So there's two. It's cat with a K and Dom with a double M. So just that's the only tricky thing. Every so often I'm like, oh man, I should have thought about that before I made that my everything. But the dommekat.com is pretty much where you'll find all my links too.
I will say this. First of all, double MEKAT. I like your style. Put that together. Very, very nice, ma'am. I look at it like this as well. First and foremost, have you been enjoying Blue Sky now that you're getting away from the Twitter front? How's Blue Sky been? Because I actually just started not too long ago. I hear good things.
It's so far so good. I mean, that's every platform though, right? Like, all the spicy people get over there and it seems really good and then something changes. But so far, I've heard of somebody, being bigoted on there, and actually they got kicked off. On Twitter, it seems to be the person who's actually getting the harassment, who's on the receiving end of it, seems to get kicked off. So it's pretty opposite on Blue Sky. So far, so good. It seems like I know that a lot of sex workers were on there, and a lot of queer folk were on there. I started on there when you needed the invite code. But still, like, I feel like sex workers just took over that spot. We were just like, ours, mine. And I honestly have it like pretty much, I'd say fairly close. I haven't checked it recently, but my followers grew so incredibly fast that the stalled out followers that I had on Twitter, like, I'm going to surpass it in the next few months. People are out there. There's no algorithm. So if you want to see something, you can see it. It's not suppressed. Adult content is marked, so you can see it if you want to. You don't have to see it if you don't. So far, I love it. I love it. And everybody on there is still, kind of keeping it a nice place. Everybody seems to be pretty positive with it.
I will say the link to your Blue Sky will be in the description. So everybody, and you should follow the Domme Kat over here. And once I figure out mine, which will probably be shortly, I'll be giving you a follow as well, man. But yes, no, I love it too. I think what's great about it too is it adds another form of media for everybody to connect with, which is the most important thing. Because not only do we mention like everybody coming together for the parties, but the networks and the connections is so key to anything that you do, and especially having the right surroundings, which a lot of great people in this community, much like yourself, do. And I will say this, I got to give love to not only the sessions wrestlers, to anybody who's doing their thing in the sex work side of things. Y'all are very open-minded. Y'all are very free. And I've made a lot of great friends in this particular genre, including yourself, Dom Kat, dare I say, Meow, and many other people out there that do the damn thing. And Domina, I will say this. One other thing I have to mention here, because you brought up the Cuddle Puddle. I'd like to get back talking to that very briefly, because I got to say, number one, love the name, but number two, always a big hit at your parties.
Yes. And it's a play party, so there's no like, sexy time kind of stuff. So it is very like at its core, very wholesome, and sometimes it's nice to just have that aftercare moment or to, just kind of get out of the loud and connect, whether it's with another guest or someone that you came with, or even just chilling by yourself, man, especially after an intense scene. Sometimes I just love just getting a drink of water and just hanging out by myself, so it's a really nice place to just be able to kind of escape the loud.
Whew, I gotta say, not only do you escape the loud and get to be quiet by yourself, but you get to just enjoy that sweet, sweet fantasy, baby, to quote Mariah Carey and ODB, Old Dirty Bastard, God rest his soul, and so many great things that are involved in these parties. I gotta say, Domina, you're a hit maker, you're a party thrower, and you are doing the damn thing. And all of Domina's links will be in the description below this. You're very welcome, ma'am. And if you want to check out LFCfights.com, y'all should, because we're in the place to be. Check out our last events, LFC 40 and LFC 41, respectively, from the FSW Arena in Las Vegas, Nevada, 702, where my girl's at, from the front to back, hell to the yes. You can check out Beauty, Strength, and Dominance on the VIP section, where you get to see this face, and most importantly, this face over here, that grill, and her appendix is doing better, which I'm so happy to hear. My love.
It's gone. It's gone.
It's gone. But either way, you're still doing better. That's the main thing. And I'm glad to hear that, my love. Oh, my goodness gracious. But I will say this. The amount of camaraderie is there, from the LFC ladies to the session world to the sex workers. It's a good time, ladies and gentlemen. And be sure to subscribe and check out everything, anything, and everywhere over there. Who the hell knows, but we're going to be there. So, Domina Katarina, do you have any final words for the LFC fans, your fans, and people in general? Promote that party one more time.
Just come out to Surrender Let's Glow Pro Wrestling on Friday, December 13th. Friday the 13th. Wear your I was gonna say vinyl. You can wear vinyl if you want, but wear your neon. It's a black light party. Come with friends, come by yourself. Can't guarantee you a wrestling partner, but we can get you on the mats. Don't you worry. We'll make every effort to get somebody who wants to wrestle on those mats wrestling. Tons of things going on. The bit.ly link, I can give that to you. It's bit.ly, and then it's Wrestling Pro, capital W, capital P. It's on my socials. It's on FetLife. Come on out. Come out and see us December 13th.
Beautifully and eloquently stated. This woman talked about vinyl, neon, everything. We're retro for this piece, baby.
I think that the jacket, the vest is going to my head.
Hey, it's all good. We're retro up in here. Who doesn't love good nostalgia, number one, and number two, who doesn't like neon lights? I think you should, because if you're not, get all up in that. Get on the mats and have a good time. Links will be in the description, like you mentioned. Wrestle, capital W, capital P for pro, baby. Oh, my goodness. Domina Katarina, I will say this, and to all you fine people listening to this show, I appreciate you. First of all, it's the holiday season. Go out there, spread some Christmas cheer, spread some love, and get together, especially at a Surrender Party, because ain't no party like a Surrender Party. A Surrender Party doesn't stop. So, with that being said, for Domina Katarina, my name is Mike Larkin. And Domina, as I say to end each and every one of these shows, beauty, strength, and dominance, the three key elements that make women the work of art that they are. And Domina Katarina, meow, I include you in those sentiments. Thank you so much.